Jessica Morgan's phone buzzed late at night. She frowned at the screen and froze. The message wasn't from a friend or family member. It was from her lawyer, Daniel Hayes. The text was short but chilling. "Call me immediately. It's about Lily. You need to know the truth." Her heart skipped a beat. Lily, her 14-year-old daughter, was upstairs sleeping peacefully. Or at least she hoped so. Jessica's mind raced through possibilities. Was Lily in trouble? Hurt? Missing? She dialed Daniel immediately, her hands trembling. The ringtone seemed to drag her, stretching her anxiety. Finally, he picked up, his voice unusually grave. "Jessica, I wish I were calling under better circumstances," Daniel began, pausing to let the gravity sink in. "It's about something serious regarding your daughter. It's complicated, and I think it's better if we discuss it in person. But you should know, it's urgent." Jessica gripped the edge of the kitchen counter. Her mind spun. What could possibly be so urgent and terrifying that her lawyer had to call her at this hour? Daniel explained that he had received documents from a school investigation that could have major implications for her daughter's future. He didn't go into detail over the phone, saying only that she needed to come to his office immediately. Jessica's anxiety surged. She woke her husband, Mark, who tried to remain calm but couldn't hide his worry. "Whatever it is, we'll handle it," he said, trying to reassure her. But the truth was, neither of them knew what they were about to face. The ride to the lawyer's office was silent, filled only with tense glances and the occasional sigh. Jessica's stomach churned with dread. The truth about her daughter could change everything, she feared. When they arrived, Daniel was waiting, papers in hand, his face set in an expression Jessica didn't recognize. Serious, almost somber. "Jessica, Mark, you need to sit down," he said. And in that moment, Jessica realized that whatever truth was about to be revealed, it wasn't going to be easy. Jessica and Mark sat stiffly across from Daniel, who placed the documents on the desk. His hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from the seriousness of what he was about to share. "It's about Lily," Daniel said, his voice steady but heavy. "The school found evidence that she's involved in a situation that could be very serious. Legally." Jessica's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" she asked, voice barely a whisper. Daniel explained that Lily had unintentionally become entangled in a situation involving cyberbullying and the sharing of sensitive information among classmates. While she hadn't started the problem, her name appeared on communications that implicated her in a potentially criminal way. Jessica felt her world tilt. Her daughter, innocent, facing possible legal consequences. She struggled to breathe. How could this happen?" Mark reached out and held her hand. "We'll figure this out, Jess. We'll protect her." Daniel nodded. "That's why I called. We need to act fast. There are steps we can take to protect her future, but it requires immediate action, transparency, and guidance." Jessica's mind raced. Questions flooded in. How had Lily gotten involved? What would this mean for her school, her friends, her life? And most terrifyingly, how much did Lily understand about what was happening? She realized that her daughter, at 14, might be carrying a weight far beyond her years. Daniel continued, explaining that while Lily was not in immediate danger, ignoring the issue could escalate it into a legal crisis. The documents detailed messages, screenshots, and interactions, none of which were entirely Lily's fault, but which could be interpreted against her. Jessica felt a wave of panic and guilt. Had she failed to protect her child? How would she explain this to Lily without breaking her? Mark squeezed her hand again. "We're in this together," he said, "and we'll get through it." Jessica nodded, swallowing back tears. She had to be strong for Lily. The coming days would challenge every ounce of her courage. The next morning, Jessica called Lily to the kitchen. Her daughter walked in, sleepy-eyed and unaware of the storm that had begun. "Lily," Jessica began carefully, her voice trembling slightly. "We need to talk about something important. Something serious that happened at school." Lily's eyes widened, sensing the gravity in her mother's tone. "Mom, what's wrong?" Jessica took a deep breath. "It's about some messages that got shared. Messages that you were a part of, even if you didn't mean any harm." Lily's face paled. I didn't mean to. Mom, I swear." "I know, sweetheart," Jessica said, her voice soft but firm. "I know it wasn't your intention. But we have to fix this, and we have to do it together." For hours, they went through the evidence, carefully analyzing everything with Daniel. Jessica realized that Lily had been naive and curious, but never malicious. Still, the legal implications were real. Mark joined in, helping to reassure Lily that mistakes didn't define her future. The key was honesty, transparency, and responsibility. By the evening, Jessica felt exhausted but determined. She had always been her daughter's protector, and now more than ever, she had to navigate the storm with care, strategy, and love. Jessica and Mark spent the night strategizing with Daniel, their lawyer. Every detail mattered. Every message, every interaction Lily had been involved in could potentially be misconstrued. The documents Daniel had shown them were thorough, but he assured them that Lily's lack of intent was clear. They just needed to act decisively. Daniel emphasized transparency with the school authorities. "This isn't just about legal protection," he explained. "It's about demonstrating responsibility and integrity. Lily needs to understand that mistakes happen, but handling them correctly is what builds trust." Jessica nodded, taking meticulous notes. She had always been her daughter's protector, but now she had to be her guide, her advisor, and her emotional anchor. She also realized that Lily had been thrust into an adult-like problem far too soon, and it was her job to shield her from unnecessary fear while ensuring accountability. Mark, normally calm, was visibly anxious. "Do we need to involve law enforcement?" he asked, his voice tense. "Not at this point," Daniel replied. "The key is cooperation and evidence of intent. If we handle this correctly, Lily's future remains intact." The next morning, Jessica gently approached Lily. "Sweetheart, we need to talk about the steps we'll take," she said. "I know this is scary, but I promise we'll fix it together." Lily nodded, tears brimming, and whispered, "I didn't mean any of it, Mom. I just wanted to fit in." Jessica pulled her close. "I know, baby. No one blames you for being curious or trying to make friends. What matters now is how we respond. That's what makes you strong." They spent hours reviewing every screenshot, every text, and every email, making sure that nothing was misunderstood. Jessica drafted statements for Lily to read aloud if questioned, emphasizing honesty and accountability. She also prepared letters to the school and teachers explaining Lily's role and lack of intent. By evening, a detailed plan was in place. Jessica and Mark were exhausted, but they felt a cautious optimism. Daniel praised their dedication, noting that Lily's cooperation and the family's guidance could turn a potentially devastating situation into a teachable moment. As they tucked Lily into bed that night, Jessica whispered, "We'll get through this, sweetheart. And you'll come out stronger, I promise." Lily smiled weakly, clutching her mother's hand. For the first time since the lawyer's call, she felt hope instead of fear. The following weeks were tense but productive. Jessica and Mark followed Daniel's guidance meticulously, attending meetings with school officials, reviewing statements, and helping Lily prepare for any questions. Each step was deliberate, measured, and focused on demonstrating Lily's honesty and accountability. During one meeting, Lily spoke calmly and clearly, explaining her side of the story. Her sincerity, guided by Jessica's coaching, left the administrators impressed. They could see that she hadn't acted maliciously and that her involvement was circumstantial. The school decided on an educational approach, workshops on online safety and responsible communication, rather than punishment. Jessica watched her daughter regain confidence gradually. The fear and shame that had weighed on her vanished, replaced by a sense of empowerment. Lily learned that mistakes didn't define her character. It was how she responded that mattered. Mark hugged Jessica one evening, whispering, "We did the right thing. She's lucky to have you." Jessica smiled, tears in her eyes. "No, she did all the hard work. I just guided her." Weeks later, at home, Lily laughed freely again, sharing stories of school projects and friends. The ordeal had strengthened their bond. Jessica felt closer to her daughter than ever before. The experience also reminded her of the importance of vigilance, communication, and unconditional support. Daniel called one last time, congratulating them on their careful handling of the situation. "Jessica, Mark, you handled this perfectly. Lily will remember this moment for the rest of her life. Not as a crisis, but as a lesson in integrity and courage." That night, Jessica sat by Lily's bedside, reflecting on the ordeal. The initial fear, the sleepless nights, and the lawyer's chilling message all seemed like a distant memory. What remained was clarity. Challenges were inevitable, but love, honesty, and determination could transform even the darkest moment into strength. As Lily drifted to sleep, Jessica whispered softly, "We faced the terrible truth, and together we overcame it." She knew that their bond had become unbreakable, fortified by resilience, trust, and unwavering love. Thank you so much for watching this story till the end. I hope you enjoyed it and maybe even learned something from it. If you'd like to hear more stories like this, full of life lessons, drama, and emotions, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss an update. Your support means the world, and it helps me keep bringing you more inspiring and unforgettable stories. Stay tuned because more amazing stories are on the way.